Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial. 6 Bangladeshi Hindus were killed and more than 100 people injured in Bangladesh Durga Puja violence. Let's discuss that. That's my topic number 1. My topic number 2, which I'll start with. I'll start my editorial with my topic number 2. And my topic number 2, Fab India wanted to promote their range, which they were going to launch during the festive period. And they called it Jashn-e-Riwaz. And a lot of people got upset and said, "Aisa kaisa launch kar sakta hai?" So let's discuss that. That's my topic number 2. Like I said, I'll start with that particular topic. Let's get right into the show. So there is this very popular clothing brand called the Fab India. It's a very popular brand and a lot of people love that brand. I like it too. Now, Fab India is into ethnic Indian attire. They sell kurtas, they sell pyjamas, they sell dhotis, they sell jackets, they sell shawls, so on and so forth. So very ethnic Indian attire. And these guys launched Jashn-e-Riwaz. They launched it. Now, they launched it now and it was supposed to be continuing. I'm sure it was one of the launches for the Diwali festival, for the festive season per se, which includes Eid and Diwali. So they launched this attire and lo behold, our self-proclaimed spokesperson of Hinduism, they got angry. And they said, and one of them, Mr. Tejasvi Surya, who stands out amongst these self-proclaimed Hindu custodians, he says that, you see, Deepavali is not Jashn-e-Riwaz. Deepavali is not Jashn-e-Riwaz. That this deliberate attempt of Abramization of Hindu festivals depicting models without tradition Hindu attires must be called out, he says. Brands like Fab India must face economic cost for such deliberate misadventures. Now, this young man here is playing 3 roles. Role number 1, he is playing the role of the protector of Hinduism. That's the first role he is playing. The second role that he is playing is he is becoming a spokesperson for all Hindus in this country. Okay, self-proclaimed spokesperson. And the role number 3 he is doing is he is playing a judge. First of all, he says Deepavali is not Jashn-e-Riwaz. Now, I ask this simple question. Why is Deepavali not Jashn-e-Riwaz? Jashn-e-Riwaz means Jashn is celebration and Riwaz is tradition. It technically means traditional celebration. Now, the question I want to ask tonight is, does a religion come with a language? Does the religion have a language? So, if I am a Hindu, I can only say things, talk about my festival, talk about my culture, talk about my celebration in A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H language. If I don't speak in those language, then I am wrong. Then it is depicting Hindus in a bad light. Is that how it works? Because, see, for instance, had I said Deepavali is a festival of lights in Chinese, would I be wrong? Would I be punished for that? If I say that in Japanese, would I be punished for that? Can I only say it in a particular language? Is that how it works? That's the first question I wanted to ask you. And I want you to see the photograph on the screen. You tell me, how does this become an Abrahamization of Hindu festival depicting models without traditional Hindu attire? Then I want to ask this gentleman my second question. So if I go to my house, I celebrate Diwali every year like any other Hindu. I also celebrate Diwali every year. But I don't wear a dhoti, kurta and all. At times I celebrate that in jeans and a t-shirt. So what? Am I against Hinduism if I celebrate Diwali in a jeans and a t-shirt? Is that what this gentleman is saying? Or when I photograph with my family, the Diwali photograph, should I be wearing traditional? I should say, wait, photographer, hang on, I'll go get my kurta, pajama, dhoti, my turban and all, and I'll come and stand and then take a photograph. Is that how it works? If I click myself with the jeans, is it not working? So that's the question I wanted to ask him. What are we talking about? If I say Happy Diwali in English, am I doing something wrong? Is it blasphemy? Arey, English use kar raha hai, Deepavali wish karne ko, how is it? So that's okay. And this is not. Why? This is because it's Urdu. Okay. Now let's come to the Urdu factor. You see, we first need to understand what is ours and what is not ours. Urdu is a Indo-Aryan language. Indo-Aryan language. That is the genesis of Urdu. What has Abraham got to do with Urdu? What has Abraham got to do with Urdu? Abraham had nothing to do with Urdu because it's not an Abrahamic language. It's an Indo-Aryan language, for crying out loud. I mean, what are we talking about? You know, advertising was beautiful. One of the reasons why I quit advertising, and this story is very close to my heart, but I want to reveal this today to you. You know, one of the reasons I wanted to move out of advertising and possibly get into doing what I'm doing currently is because, you know, once I was handling a brand recently, 5 years, 7 years back, 6 years back. I was handling a brand and we were packaging this brand, and we packaged this brand. We used a specific color for the package. It was 2 colors actually. On the front side there was one color, back side there was another color. We used this color and it was beautiful. The client loved the packaging, we loved the packaging. We thought it was going to be a hit. In fact, we thought we'll get an award for it. You know, the client one night, I remember, called me and he said, listen, you know what, you'll have to give me a new packaging design. I want the old packaging design to be changed. So I said, Arey, we kind of partied because of a lovely design. We all like the design. The research liked the design. What's wrong with you? Why do you want to change the design? Why do you want to change the packaging design? He says, you know what, dealers are having a problem. I said, why are dealers having a problem? He says, you know, there's a specific color that you used. You know, when that color, when the dealer stacks it up in his wall, that wall looks very odd, and you know, it gives a different connotation. It gives a religious connotation. So dealers are not willing to keep that package. Dealers are not willing to keep it wherever we tell them to. So, you know, we have a problem, and if a dealer doesn't stock it in the wall, in his display, then how is the product going to sell? I had to go back to office, change the packaging and give it back to the client. That's the last packaging I ever worked on. I have not worked on another packaging design in my life, and I don't want to work on any more packaging design in my life. Because, you know, 30 years in advertising, 27 years to be precise in advertising, 27 years, I never designed a packaging and ad, a campaign or a design for a particular religion. I've never done that. I designed my campaign, my ad for Indians, for Indian consumers. I never designed, you know, using a color for a particular community or not using a color because I don't want to involve a particular community. I've never done that. And when it came to that, when it came to advertising, somewhere, you know what? This is like deja vu. I thought this is what we are going to get into. And so true. This happened with an ad of Surf. Daag Achhe Hain. A beautiful ad which shows a little boy and a little girl. A little girl taking to a little boy to his masjid. There was controversy. This happened with Tanishq because it was a Hindu girl married to a Muslim boy. What a rage it created. So to conclude, just to ask a question. Had it not been just a Riwaz, had it been Happy Diwali collection, would we have a problem? Would this man say that the deliberate attempt of Abramization of Hindu festival depicting what? Would he say all this? So what was his problem? Using another language which is not an Indian language according to him, which he is wrong, it is an Indian language, or using Urdu. What is his problem? Using English wouldn't have had a problem, because I will show you 1001 greeting cards and banners and all which says Happy Diwali. That's okay. But using Jashn-e-Riwaz is hugely misguiding or misleading or misadventure of a brand. Think about it. Think about these things. And I would urge you, please question these things when it's brought in front of you. Let's get into our next topic. There was a study in Bristol University. The study said that whichever country has religious harmony, whichever country lives together, they grow together. countries which has radicalization, countries which there is no religious harmony, these are countries that normally goes down, does badly when it comes to economy. Bangladesh was doing phenomenally well, and we as neighbors, all of us, were very proud of Bangladesh because they were doing very, very well. Their GDP was growing and the country is growing. What happened recently in Bangladesh, where six Bangladeshi Hindus were killed, more than 100 people injured, ISKCON temple vandalized, puja pandals vandalized, temples vandalized. This is not going to do good for Bangladesh, for their economy, their imagery. You see, from January 2013 to September 2021, they reported close to 3,679 attacks on minority, on Hindus. Around 554 houses were burned, 442 shops were gutted. All these things are not going to help them to grow their economy. I was very surprised with the statement that their Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina made. In her statement, she said that we expect that nothing happens there meaning India, nothing happens there which could influence any situation in Bangladesh, affecting our Hindu community here. I found that this statement to be strange because, I mean, how do you say that, you see, a situation in the neighboring country, affects our own people, our own population. I can understand situation in the neighboring countries affects the border, affects our relation with the neighboring country. All that I can understand. But situation in a neighboring country affecting our own people, and therefore we can't control our own people because situation in the neighboring country is maybe, that situation in the neighboring country affects us, is a very weird statement. In a country which has got a population of around 17 crores of people, out of which 1.6 crores are Hindus, that's what Bangladesh population is, and that's what the Hindu population in Bangladesh is. Those 1.6 crores are Bangladeshis. They're her population. They're her people. Their situation should not be dependent on what is happening in India. I'm sorry, that doesn't work that way. Their situation should be created. Their safety is her responsibility. And you see, a very simple thing that I spoke a couple of days back and I reiterate. It is the duty of the majority to ensure that their minorities are kept safe. It is the duty of a civilized majority. Let me rephrase. Civilized majority of a civilized country. The day you can't safeguard your own majority, and I say this for everybody, the day that you can't safeguard your own minority, that day you cease to be a civilized country and a civilized bunch of people. You not only humiliate your country, you humiliate the religion that the majority belongs to. That's the point I wanted to make. As usual, we require your subscription to run this show, to run our channel. Do log on to www.hwnews.in. Do log on to us, our website. Do subscribe to us. That will keep us going. That will help us not only to deliver whatever we are delivering to you currently, but to grow. Till I see you next time. Namaskar.